Hello, I don't need these, and welcome to the Peak Endurance Podcast. I am Isabel Tate, and beside me is
Ron Tate. That's me.
Thank God you remembered. The Alzheimer's hasn't kicked in
Not quite.
yet. We'll get to that. We'll get
No.
to that.
We are talking to you from the beautiful Wandiligong.
Which is why what you'll see behind us looks different in this.
Yes.
There's a lot of macrame.
Yes.
Macrame. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'll just tilt the camera up for a second. Beautiful macrame
Yeah.
everywhere. So very. She's obviously putting her. I'm assuming she. How rude. They
They.
are putting their talents. Be the husband.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Who's to say?
Yeah, we're in a lovely Airbnb that we've been in several times now. We enjoy it so much.
This
we
is
keep
our
coming
third
back.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, and we do have our
Wine.
wine.
Obligatory wine.
We
Because we're on holidays. That's why
Yes.
we're working.
and we feel like we've earned it.
Mm. Great listening,
Yeah.
and to us drinking wine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, at least we don't slurp. But
Yeah.
hey, it's all about keeping it real here
That's
at
right.
Peak
It
Endurance
is. It is.
Podcast.
Yeah.
None of these
We do love
editing slurps
No.
or ums and ahs. We just go with the flow.
You'll notice there's no outtakes from our podcast
No,
because every outtake is an
outtakes
is
to
an
listen
intake.
to. It's all in there.
It's all in there.
You get the raw, unfiltered
That's right.
Ron and Isabel.
Mostly because we just can't be bothered editing.
Oh my God, it's enough work as it is without editing.
That's
And
right.
I'm the kind of person that I get really shitty if I can't do things perfectly. And if I'm trying to edit and I can't get it right, I'll crack the poos.
And I'm the kind of person that wouldn't know how.
No, you wouldn't. And
right.
I would be the kind of person I would have to buy the most high-tech, latest, software, which I have bought before.
Yeah.
And I spent so much money on the Premiere Pro, so much money.
Mm.
And I literally struggled so much. And I paid for it for a couple of years before I decided to stuff it. I can't. It's just not me.
Yeah.
I know some people can, and my son thinks I'm a bit of a moron. But you know what? You got to know your strengths and your weaknesses.
That's right.
And
I'm sure you could if you wanted to put the time into learning it
if
properly.
I spent
But
a couple of weeks full time.
who has that kind of
Yeah,
time?
because I did make a few videos with it and it was okay, but it's one of those
Yeah.
things you got to do it regularly to
Yeah.
get good at it. It's like running.
Yeah.
You got to be consistent and keep at it. And just doing it haphazardly led to frustration and
Pain.
giving it up, which is the same with running.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like everything ties back to running. It's
It does.
freaky.
Yeah.
It's the same with running. If you're not consistent, you're just going to get frustrated. You're going to give it up, and then you're going to hate running, and that would be sad.
Yeah, that's right.
So
what finds us in the lovely town of Wandiligong?
well, that would potentially be the WandiCross, the best
Yes.
race on the race calendar.
That's
And
right.
if you have not done this before, get on it, folks, because it
Oh.
is awesome. And
It
it's
is.
such a good community event. I mean, it's raising money for the local primary school. I'm thinking ahead of what I'm going to say, so that's why I get
You got funds and money.
yeah.
Yeah.
It raises money for the local primary school. It's all completely run by volunteers. They're
Yep.
not making money out of this baby.
No,
And such a good community feel.
it is. It's so grassroots. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
and we're going to talk more about that as we go. So
Yeah.
that's the race. So we're going to talk about that, and just talk about that.
Yeah, talk about that. Why not?
So, because that's our update.
Yeah.
And we know we have heard from listeners that they like to hear about Australian races and
Yeah.
Victorian races. And
Mhm.
this is just such an iconic Australian race.
And for those who don't know, where exactly is Wandiligong?
Where indeed?
We are roughly. I'll answer it. Okay. While you're drinking.
Because you touched my quad.
Oh, sorry. Well, we'll get to that later. Wandiligong is about 5 k's outside of Bright, which is an alpine town around Mount Hotham, Falls Creek.
Victoria's Boulder.
Yeah,
That's what I always call it. Victoria's Boulder. I've been to Boulder, and can I say Bright's better because it's not as big,
yeah.
but it's almost getting as touristy.
It is becoming a recreational mecca.
Oh, it's awesome. And that's why
Victoria.
it's like Boulder, because
Yeah.
it's where people go, and it's all like pausey people, and I just
Yeah.
love that.
Yep.
I would seriously move here if we were loaded,
Yeah, that's right.
because every man and his dog wants to
Yeah.
move,
And if I wouldn't have to commute to Dandenong every day.
Like I care.
So
Joking.
yeah, so we're in Wandiligong. We came up here on Friday night or Friday afternoon.
Late afternoon, because Ron had to work in the morning. I mean, I work too, but work from home.
Yeah. The race was on Saturday morning. And tell us a little bit about the race.
It's hilly.
It is hilly.
It is very hilly. And when we say hilly, the race was 26.5 kilometers. We did more than that. We'll get to that.
Yes, we'll get to that.
With just under, with about 2,220 or 30 meters climbing.
Yep.
Right. So over 25.6 kilometers, that is a shit ton of climbing.
And it's contained in 4 solid climbs, four separate but really solid climbs, almost getting harder. Each climb gets harder and harder.
Especially the one in the full sun.
Yeah, the last 2 were the hardest, and it was a toss-up between which was hardest. Probably the third one, mainly because it was in the sun.
Yes.
Anyway,
let's get back to the beginning. So the beginning, it's quite funny because you run, right, and it's flat, and then you start this climb, and we run past our accommodation.
That's right.
And I looked at my watch, and it was 580 meters, and we're like running past, going, "Oh, we could be tucked up in bed," but we're not. We're actually having an awesome time, and it was really cold.
Quite cold. It was quite. The grass was
icy
on
the oval. Because you start in the oval.
Yeah.
And then an awesome arch that was made by a local craftsman, I believe. Really cool. I wish I should have got a photo. I'm trying to steal photos off WandiCross. They had it on their story, but you can't steal photos from there. That's not handy dandy. Yeah. Come on, Wandi, post some photos so I can steal them.
Made from wood. Looks like
local
logs.
Wood. Yeah.
Because it's a logging area here.
Yeah.
Hence why we're in this.
When I say local wood, pine, which is a European wood, but whatevs, local at the moment.
To this area.
Yeah. No.
Now. Yeah. So we started off. The first climb was about 3 Ks to the top, I think, including the K and a half.
Oh, okay. Was
to get to the hill.
So it was. Okay. Yeah. Which was a bit of a conga line. It was a conga line.
It was a conga line.
And we were overtaking people in that, but then we just decided to conserve energy.
It got to the point where we looked up and all we could see was people, and it was pointless trying to pass. It was just pointless
because you're having to go into shitty, scrubby bits and potentially break an ankle and whatnot.
So we just joined the line and
and we just,
conserved our energy.
Yeah. And then at the top of that climb, it peeled off. People went to the right if they were doing the 14K. And that's what we said.
Yeah.
Once we get to the top, heaps of people will peel off.
Yeah.
And then we went left. And my shoes were feeling a bit loose. But I thought, no, she could. And it's funny because also, can I just say, on the walk to the start of the race from the accommodation, I could feel, I knew during the week I should have clipped my big toenails. They were long for a runner. For a normal person in every other day life, they were perfectly fine, the correct shortness.
Yep.
And I was walking down there going, I wonder if this is going to come back and bite me on the ass. Well, let's just say it did.
It took a big bite.
Oh, my word. Anyway, so down that first climb, my shoes were loose, but I didn't want to tighten them because then all the people would pass on the climb would pass me. But my shoes were really slopping around, which hurt my ankles. And you were behind me.
I ran behind her at one point and I could see her feet slipping around in her shoes. It was like they were 3 sizes too big.
Yeah, and it's because big part of it is because of the nerve problem in my left foot. I can't tell the tightness of the foot of the shoe when I do it up. That's why I'm always having trouble with that because I can't tell it's too tight until it gets more tingly. So I always do it a bit too loose and then it just gets looser. And the right one, I don't know what the reason was for that. I maybe the laces were stiff because it was so fucking cold.
Yeah.
But I was having a lot of and it was just so annoying, and it was really hurting my ankles, and I've still got a sore right ankle. Anyway, so we
went,
kept going. We got down that.
It was quite a technical, rocky trail on the way down. So we really had to focus on, feet placement and not, basically it was a stumble at the top and then you just tried to maintain your feet all the way down.
As I said to Ron, for most of the downhills, all I did was trip, fly to the next point where I trip again, fly to the next point, trip, fly. So really I wasn't running down the hill, I was just tripping down the hill.
Yeah. So, but it was going well.
You were having fun
too. Having fun right up until the point where the course turned to the right.
And I remember coming up to going, this is where we turn right. But I was running behind Ron, who was running behind this other woman.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
nice.
didn't see any signs, to be fair, even though
Yeah.
I kind of knew. And the woman kept going off to the left, so Ron just followed her because Ron doesn't know the course as well as
Not
I
that well,
do.
no.
And I didn't see anything that stood out to me. So I thought, oh,
Yeah.
maybe they've changed the course this year. You know, we're going down this hill and it was getting pretty bad.
It was
wasn't
getting bad. It was very overgrown. There was big,
Oh my God,
huge
the ruts.
water ruts in
That was
the
horrendous.
trail.
And you're like crouched down. And
Crashed down. And I was thinking, I haven't seen a ribbon for a while, but I didn't see where we would turn off. So I was like, okay, we'll keep looking for a ribbon. And then all of a sudden I came around a bend and the main road from Bright to Harrietville was there. And I was like, I'm pretty sure we don't come down this far. So I stopped and I turned around and gave Isabel the bad news and said, I think we've
I'm like,
gone the wrong way.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah.
So, and that's when it's really important to listen to your instincts and not be afraid to go, hey guys, I think, and not just go, well, they must be right. I must be the idiot that's wrong.
Yeah.
No, not always. Sometimes you're the idiot that's right.
Yeah.
So,
That's exactly
you
right.
know, so,
So yeah.
I went, I know where we were meant to go. I know. And we hiked up this steep. It was a really steep
It
hill.
was a steep hill. Yeah.
So all in all, we added about 1.5 Ks, which was probably, we estimate, at least 20 minutes because it was a decent climb. It was a slow run down because it was so technical.
And it was about 70 to 80 meters of
Climbing
ascent to get back up to
in 750 meters, which is
back up to the
solid.
So,
and so then we were like, oh.
So anyway, we
battled on like the heroes we are.
we took it on the chin and kept on going. And
we suffered in silence.
We did. There was a lot of silence. Anyway, we kept on going. We got to the aid station pretty soon after that. Isabel got a, hey, I know you from Instagram.
That's right.
From one of the aid stations.
I want to go. The reason we're so far back is because we got lost, but I didn't say it.
So got a shout out from the aid station.
Nice crew there. And they took some photos. So if you're listening, could you send them to us?
Yeah.
Although I probably look terrible, so don't.
Yeah. And then from there we started the next climb, which started off nice and gently along a bit of a dirt road track, driveway type thing.
Four-wheel drive road. Yep.
And then
it goes up to the right, up steep.
Yeah, it took a turn to the right, and then we kind of hit bike. They were like bike tracks.
Yeah. That's the standard course, though.
Yeah. It was, same as last time.
Yeah.
And which climbs up a long, steady climb. Not as steep, probably out of all four climbs, that was the least steep.
Yeah, it was more gradual.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't too horrendous, you know.
Yeah, so that was nice enough. By then it was starting to warm up, and we weren't in the sun so much because there was still a lot of tree cover.
That side of the course was mainly in the shade.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then we went on the next downhill. By then, what happened was, I've got a pair of I wore Saucony shoes, and I've got this other pair of Saucony shoes, which I bought at considerable expense, trail shoes, and which I love, except for the fact that they've got this plastic thing right where your toenails catch on them. Well, guess what? This pair did too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that because I've never done super steep downhills in the Dandies. I've been running in these for a while, and I love them. But oh my God, my ever so slightly too long nails were catching on this plastic and lifting every time I took a step down the hill.
So just imagine ripping off a toenail
every step,
and just every step taking a little bit more off.
It was excruciating. And so my run downhill was shit. That was me running down all the hills, which was, I'm sure, was an awesome soundtrack. But we made it down, and the main reason I don't cut my toenails is because every time I go to have a shower, it's like, oh, but I haven't got my glasses because I'm an old fart. I need my glasses to cut my toenails now. Well, I don't, but I want to make sure I do it right. You know, if I was just cutting them and I don't care, but because we're runners, you've got to do it right so you don't get ingrown toenails. So, yeah, that's my excuse, and I'm going to stand by it.
So then we got back down that climb and back into the town.
Oh no! But before that, we got lost again.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We got down to the bottom,
to the road,
which is basically in Wandiligong, on the outskirts of Wandiligong. And for some, I think some locals or somebody had decided to move some flags, and the flags actually directed us into this
park.
It was like a camping area that was just an open area, but the flags directed us in there. So we followed the flags and ran in there. And
other people, we weren't the only numpties who made this mistake.
Yeah.
Admittedly, it was the same woman. I blame her, not us.
And then we got into this park, and they disappeared. And I was like,
"This isn't right."
What happened to the flags? And we're looking around, and
this other girl catches up who we'd overtaken on the downhill, and as it was, we were already trying to catch people we hadn't even passed. We'd been ahead of to start with, and then and this one guy, we'd passed him like early days on the first climb.
At the start of the first climb.
Anyway, so, and then he was like, no, come this way. He saw the ribbons.
Yeah, he saw ribbons further down.
So we ran off. But good on them for, helping out each and every runner.
Yep.
And so we continued on, and we finally made it.
And it's actually a nice little run through Wandiligong. We follow the roads until we get into the town proper, and then we duck down onto this little creek.
Yeah.
And there's a nice little track that follows
there is,
creek.
except for the whole flat bit. The flat
It's flat and runnable.
I'm like, oh my God, Ron, I don't like this bit. And he says, that's because we're running. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. And that takes us back to the start-finish area.
Yeah.
And that was about
17 and a half for
that's
us.
Right.
It's normally 16K, so everybody knows.
Yeah, that's
but it was 17 and a half for us because I went to the toilet, and I remember looking at my watch, and it said 17.9.
And we'd done, I think, 12 and a half, like 1,250 climbing thereabouts, I think.
Yeah.
So roughly half the climbing, but over half of the distance.
Yeah.
Because we only had another 13 Ks to go after that.
Yeah. So then we headed off. Well, I went to the loo, and
I filled up
the drink bottles because, of course, I can't use aid station water. I like fresh from a spring water. But honestly, if you have nutrition problems and you get gastric distress, eliminate the chance of water upsetting your stomach and use bottled water.
Yeah. So that's what we did. So a quick stop, not a huge stop, but a quick stop in there.
Quick stop is a good stop. Yeah, although clearly the person on the
microphone
following the race thought it was too long. He's like, come on, he's been here too long.
Yeah, that's right. He was giving us
good on him. I thought that was funny. That was good.
So then we left there, and from there we head up what's called the goat track.
And because they've done a lot of clearing, because it's a logging area, and that's fine. They've done a lot of clearing, and that's why I love running in the area, because of the clearing. The races always change, the hills always change, everything always changes, and I love the smell of pine.
Yeah. So
they've done that.
When we started up the climb, that guy that we passed a little bit earlier, he had obviously gone through a bit faster, and he was standing at the bottom, and he looked up and he said, "Oh, it looks like the Battle of the Somme." Which,
is that what he said? I missed that bit.
Which is a
French.
Yeah, a French battle from World War One.
Yes, one. Yeah.
And obviously those battle sites were just complete carnage.
Yes.
And that's what it looked like looking up the side of this hill.
I didn't know he said that because I was a bit behind you.
Yeah. And he was an English guy. He had an English accent.
Yes.
So it probably made a lot of sense to him.
Yeah, and you just went,
No, I knew exactly what he was talking about.
Sure you did.
But of course, because it had been cleared and the sun was at that right angle, and
it was a beautiful winter's day, 18 degrees, full sun, not a cloud in the sky. Well, barely a cloud in the sky.
So this climb was done in the full sun. It's a short climb in distance, but it is steep.
Oh my God, it's a grind.
Steep to the point where some sections have a rope for you to pull yourself up with. But
because when it crosses a cross-cut road, and then it goes super steep to get back up to the normal climb, and if it was, because it was all fresh dirt and all that, and if it had been raining, like thank God it had, that would have been a slip inside of the highest order.
I'm not quite sure how you would get up if it was wet and muddy, because without the traction,
it would have made Terrabolga look like a walk in the park.
Yeah, that's right.
But it wasn't, so all good.
Yeah, so it was.
And do you know what? The crew of WandiCross, because they didn't know it was going to get cleared, and then it did, and they're like, shit. And everybody has a love-hate relationship with goat track.
Yeah.
So they went out and they recreated
Yeah.
Goat Track through the clearing work that had been
Yeah.
done. So, that's dedication to
Yeah.
trails, good
Yeah.
on them.
So that basically Goat Track just goes straight up the side of the mountain, straight up, no turns, it just straight up the side of the mountain.
Great views, the WandiCross people. Matt Coop said, have a look around, great views, and we did. We had a quick look around.
Yep.
Great view of Wandi, awesome.
And then you pop
hit
out
the tree line.
Yeah, you hit the tree line, and then you pop out at the top at the Mystic.
Yeah,
the top of Mystic, where the launching pad is for the paragliding.
Yep.
And
so the guys there were great. They were like 6 to 7 Ks, and I'm like, 67 Ks, what? Loop to come, and I'm like,
so we had a loop before we ended up
27K race.
Back at the top of that hill.
Yeah. So then we went off, and I recalled it as being relatively undulating.
Yeah.
Our legs saw it as way different to that. It was quite hilly. Following
a four-wheel drive track basically across the top of the ridge line of the mountain.
Yeah.
But it is hilly. And the sad thing is you can't really see, and then you'll come around a bend and the road will just go straight up, and you're like, oh, not again.
And there was this cool girl in front of us, who we were catching, and she would just stop. She sat down at one point on one of the hills, and we're just like, ha ha ha. But anyway, and then we got to the next downhill, which was actually the uphill from the Buffalo 20K.
Yep.
And it's funny because she was in front of us, and I'm looking at her going, wow, she's going slow. She looks like she's walking. But guess what? Couldn't catch her.
She hit that downhill. She was off.
Oh, she was off, especially because my toes.
Yeah.
Oh my! I would have been able to. I'm sure I would have been able to run faster, except for my toes. Like, rookie mistake, but not just rookie mistake. How was I to know the plastic? Like, I'd never gone down anything that steep. Saucony, fix this. Why is this? Your shoes are bloody awesome. Why have you got this plastic shit? No other shoes have it that your toenails catching. Those other ones, those aquary green ones, I love them. Except for the toenails catching, and it's the same with this. It was such a pity. There's such a good shoe.
Yeah, I think they might, it might be there to strengthen the toe box, but in actual fact, they're either not big enough, like they don't come up the foot long enough. Or,
I don't know. They need to maybe bring it up for. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I'm not a shoe designer. That's someone else's department. They need to fix that because. I love Saucony shoes. They used to sponsor me in my early days when I was more of a marathoner, when I was a marathoner. But I just love their shoes. Like, I'm not sponsored now, but that is bad. That was so bad.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, it really made the race a little bit traumatic for me, to be honest. Yeah.
So we got down to the bottom of that. That was a long, steady downhill. Probably the longest of the downhills, I would say.
Yeah.
Because it follows a ridge line all the way back down into Baker's Gully. And from there, we turned right, and before we knew it, we hit the bottom of Mixed Track. Now, Mixed Track, for anyone that doesn't know, in this area has a great reputation. It is steep. It is, once again, it's reasonably short, but it is steep. I hadn't done it for years, and the last time I did it was quite bare, like what Goat Track is now. But now there's quite a lot of the trees have grown up around it, so lots of tree coverage, so you couldn't actually see where it went.
Yeah, I remember when I did Buffalo the first time, like it was open like scree.
Yeah.
And it was like, because I was coming down it freaking out, and these young gun guys were like shooting off down me, and I'm like, oh, with my poles, but no, it's completely different. It's like really, I did it last year as part of the Buffalo 100, but it was dark, so I can't remember. I just remember seeing lots of bugs on the ground. But like I said to Ron, I kept telling myself, well, I did it in the 100 at the end of the 100K. I can do it now. But I tell you what, it felt shorter at the end of the 100K than it like it really dragged. But you were having your own issues.
By then, my adductors were, kicking me while I was down and
giving him grief.
And so I was really starting to drag my feet on.
So I was storming ahead.
Took off ahead of me and had to wait for me at the top for that one.
Yeah, but that, and we say it every time. We've got to do more work for the adductors, and then what do? Nothing.
So that was a tough climb for me. But we got it, and I kept on. you know, my mantra on the way up was, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
Good mantras help so much.
Repeating over and over again, I can do this.
It just goes to show that a lot of ultra running, a lot of sports is about mindset.
Yeah.
Not just physical capability.
Yeah.
Because it would have been easy to say, oh, this is too fucking hard. I hate this. Why am I to get into a really bad headspace. But you didn't.
No, I just, kept on repeating that. And I got to the top eventually. It wasn't pretty, but I got there.
Yep, that's all right. Doesn't have to be pretty.
No. So,
and then you follow the road a bit and you get up to Mystic again.
Back up to the top where the launching pad is.
And lovely, different people there at the aid station, but lovely.
Yep.
Had a bit of a laugh with them, as I explained my water predilection for only liking fresh from a mountain stream, none of this tap water shit.
Because I still had a little bit of water left in my bottle, but Isabel didn't have much at all. So I tipped my water into her bottle and I filled up at the aid station because I'm not a princess.
Because I'm a princess.
So I had a full water bottle and Isabel got one.
And I think they were like, she's a bit of a princess. And I'm like, I don't care. I'll be a princess rather than getting gastric distress.
Yes.
So anyway, so then we continued down the hill and then we got to the disco hill or whatever. Oh my God, I was the agony. Oh my God.
Every third step there was a scream and a yell.
Oh, because my left knee was also where I've had a meniscus tear before, which I never got fixed because who does that? It obviously wasn't a super bad one, but I've been noticing in the last few weeks it's been flicking and clicking a bit. And it was really hurting. And then my toes were hurting. And I was like, oh, my word. I mean, my knee is generally okay. It's just been a little bit playing up recently. But, I mean, I saw people and had, got proper care taken on me. And it was, I obviously wasn't bad enough for surgery. But, those toes. Oh, my God. Just remembering that and seeing how far and how steep.
It was very steep.
I was really controlling myself not to burst into tears. Like, it actually was, I was really having to focus hard not to burst into tears because of the sheer pain. It was, oh my God, it was so, anyway.
Once again, there was lots of ropes on the way down to hold on to. We didn't really use them because we had our poles. And
and you like sliding on your ass anyway. So, it was
we both slid on our ass.
To be fair, I did too.
Yeah, on the way down at certain points.
The good thing about my toes was it distracted from my sore ankle, as I said. So that was all good. And then it wasn't too much further from there. Just sort of a general,
just a general flattish run from the bottom, about a K and a half.
And we got back into the village, the start finish line, and pretty much everyone had packed up and gone home. Which we weren't that much later than other people.
We weren't.
And if we hadn't had our little fun little detour, we'd have been fine. But one of my clients, Megan Scott, shout out to Megan Scott, she was waiting for us, took photos of us like the champion she is. She said she'd enjoyed sitting in the sun, but to be fair, that's a long time to wait for us. So thank you, Megan. It was it was just nice to have someone smiling face waiting for us. And Matt Coops was there and we had a good chat with him. He's such a lovely guy and has such a good heart and loves mountain running, loves the school that he's raising funds for, but he's a mountain man at the end of the day and advocates for mountain running. And what I love that he advocates for is the minimalism in mountain running. There was no foot-long bloody mandatory kit. I won't start, okay. It was great. The mandatory kit was good shoes.
Good shoes,
a jacket and something to drink water out of. Like, thank God someone's actually being sensible here and allowing us to be responsible for ourselves. And not going, and you need this and you need that, like 6 million things weighing 45 kilos because we are too dumb to look after ourselves. No, Matt understands that we are grown adults and know how to look after ourselves. And we all did. Everybody did out there. And I love that in the race briefing, they're going, when you're going up, goat, it's a bit loose, and just yell at rock.
Yeah.
If you flick a rock, like honestly, none of this.
I didn't do after I flicked a rock.
Ron flicked a rock, and I said, Ron, you meant to yell rock.
I said,
I forgot.
Rock. Has it already gone well past
it? I'm like, he didn't follow the race instructions.
You got all paranoid.
I did get very Karen on you, but I didn't really. I wasn't sure if he forgot to say rock or if he forgot to listen to the race instructions.
No, I wasn't really listening.
I didn't think you were. Anyway, so then, of course, because I'm in training, we're sort of more training for multi-day night. We got out today and we did the 20K loop, which actually was that long downhill we talked about. It included that big uphill, the 20K loop from the Buffalo Stampede that we swept, and it was so awesome to get back from it and go, oh my God, I've got so many PBs and Strava.
It was a lot faster today.
Oh, because we did it at our pace.
When we swept.
So funny. We got all these PBs. So that's a good way to get a PB. Just do it really slowly the first time, then go out and just do it your normal pace.
Yeah.
You got all these PBs.
Yeah, so we got out there today. It was about 20 Ks and about 1,200 meters, or a bit over 1,200 meters of climbing. So it was a real test on sore, tired legs.
And my quads were super sore. And my toes were, I wore my Brooks, really cushioned ones with a nice wide toe box. But even I did feel a little bit of a plastic in there, but normally I wouldn't, And it was so much better in those. And Big Hill Events had a gravel race on, which was lovely. And they had some marshals out there, and we had a chat with them. And
once we got up close to Clear Spot, there was.
And they're like, oh my God, we saw you leaving from Pioneer Park. Was that you? And we're like, and they're like, oh my God, we can't believe you're here. They're like, oh, there's an aid station up there. Go grab yourself something. And we're like, we're okay. It was just lovely. And it's so, this is what I love about the area. It's everyone is really into outdoor sports and they love it. And they don't care if we're riders or runners. Like we were running up this trail and this gravel bike rider, this woman was coming down the other side. She was like, runners, yay. It's like, she's out there doing a race and we're just running along, and she was cheering for us. Like, honestly, I know a lot of people bag out mountain bikers. Oh, they get shitty with me. You know what? Go into it with a better attitude. Go into it with, we all get along, because can I tell you, as an ex-mountain biker, care about the runners? Yeah. The only thing we care about is the fact that you beat us up the goddamn hills and that shit. But we don't care. We love you too, it's actually not a thing for mountain bikers. They don't mind. And if they do, they're just roadies riding a mountain bike. That's right. That's all. But she was cheering for us. She was excited to see us, and how nice was that? Yeah, it was really cool. And also, and we saw kids riding their gravel bikes, absolutely smashing so many of the grown-ups. Like they were. And you looked at their legs, they looked like toothpicks, and yet they were smashing it up those hills, weren't they? They were amazing. Because
we were seeing these guys at the top of Clear Spot, so they'd already done a solid climb to get up there.
And so it was just great. And it just, the whole community feel of this area, and that's why I love, the Buffalo Stampede, I love the WandiCross. I just love this area. I love the whole love for the mountains here that you get. And you don't really get it anywhere else. Not that community feel of everybody loves the mountains. And that's what I love about it here. Yeah. And because Kelvin Yip was on Ultra and he posted, what's happening for you this weekend? And I posted that I replied that we were going to Wandi, and he goes, what is it that you love about it other than the accommodation that we stay in, which was a fair question. And I said to him, I don't really know, like it's the community feel, it's the grassroots, but it's more than that, because I love the Buffalo Stampede. But even the Buffalo Stampede, it's run by a bigger organisation, Single Track Events, and shout out to Nigel Preston for that too. I love that event. I mean, there's just something about events here that I just feel such a kinship with. And I don't know if you feel quite the same.
Yeah, because also the Four Peaks in November is also in this area.
That's another Nigel Preston one, No, it didn't used to be, but times change, and that's fine.
Once again, very grassroots. It was started by the community. I think then Mountain Sports took it over, and now Single Track runs
events,
it. Still very low key, very grassroots. So
like Nigel has really held on to that sort of grassroots. Yeah, whilst making things bigger, but still held on to that good community feel. Yeah, which is brilliant. And Matt Coops has done that, and I've forgotten the guy he does it with. My apologies. So I know Matt Coops because he used to coach me many years ago back in the day. When I was a much faster runner. But, so honestly, even if you're from another state, I really encourage you to come here and do this race because it
it's
is.
well worth it. It's only 27 Ks, but it is a tough
Oh,
27K
it's
race.
tough. Like, don't be fooled by the
Yeah.
short distance.
Yeah.
You'll get your money's worth, especially if you do a little bit extra like we did.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you know what? The markings and all that, at the end of the day, if I'd paid $1 bajillion to this huge UTMB style company, I would go, I want the best marking known to man.
Yeah.
But when it's a community event, it's up to me to have my wits about me to pay attention.
Yeah.
Because a community event run by 100% by volunteers, it's it's different to those kind of races where I expect a flag every 100 meters,
Yeah.
and I don't expect it with this kind of race. And and it didn't bother us. Like, it is what it is. I mean, it did a little bit, just a little bit. But
I mean, we weren't racing to win or anything. We're out there for a good time. So, although it was annoying that we missed it,
annoying more than anything.
we got over it.
Well, quite quickly.
Yeah.
And we were shattered when we got back, which is how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
So great day, all up, an awesome day. We had an awesome next run again today and connected with, the gravel bike and mountain biking community too. Now we're off after this, as soon as we're finished recording, off to Wandi Pub.
Yep.
For a feast.
Nice meal. It's always a nice meal there, and it's a nice atmosphere as well.
Once again, great community feel. I just wish we lived here. I just so much wish we lived here.
Yeah.
But we just can't afford it.
Not quite.
Because you'd think country time, cheap. No.
Not in this area.
No. Wandi might be a bit cheaper than Bright, but not by much. Anyhow.
Yeah. Something to keep dreaming for.
Yeah, that's right. All righty. Well, I hope you all had a great King's birthday. I don't know. Like I said, all my life it has been Queen's birthday. Yeah. All my life. We used to sing at school. We didn't sing the national anthem. We sang, I'm that old. We sang God Save the Queen.
Yeah, you are that.
To be fair, I didn't really sing it because I was always late to school on Monday. In fact, I was always late to school every day. But I used to just sneak up the back towards the end. But we used to sing God Save the Queen. We had an outdoor assembly every Monday morning. Rain, hail, shine, didn't matter. Did you sing God Save the Queen?
No, we sang the national anthem.
Well, we were in Bourne, so,
right.
probably more monarchists there because we were still, it was I sang it for more than 2 years because you're only 2 years under me.
Yeah.
Anyway, all my primary school years, I think maybe only grade 5 and 6, we started to sing the Australian anthem.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, that's how old I am. Old as dirt. And that's what we're going to keep doing, running dirt. And you know what? That's what you can do because it doesn't matter how old you are, as in you won't be as fast as the young guns, but you can still get out there like we did and have a damn good time.
That's right. Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
We are getting on, but we're not too old to do this sort of stuff and not too old to enjoy it.
Yeah. And that's what it's about. Your goals have to change. It's been really hard for me, really, really hard to adapt to getting slower and older, but it is part of the beauty of life. I'm trying to put a positive spin on this shit. It's at least we're goddamn out there because so many people our age are not.
Yep, that's right.
They think once you get over 50, it's your time to sit on the couch and drink wine. Yeah. Instead, we're running and drinking wine.
Yeah, that's right. We'll run and then we'll sit on the couch and drink wine.
Because we're too tired to do anything else. Right. Yeah. All righty. Anyway. Get out there, get more of the trails, enjoy your time and running the trails.
Support those grassroots events.
Support because they are so important.
Yeah, they are.
Okay? And just have fun. And you know what? If you get lost on the course, don't blame the race director. Don't yell at them. I've seen that sort of shit before. They're doing the best
I've had that experience as a race director. Someone ran past. I had a huge cross saying, don't go this way. They ran past it. And then they demanded their money back after the race.
Seriously.
And,
it was our fault. We weren't looking eyes up. We were looking at our feet. I was looking at my feet and crying. But at the same by the same token, it was our fault. It was
Yeah.
nobody else's. There was markings. We just didn't happen to see them.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way it goes.
is.
That's racing. That's why it's trail racing, not road racing.
Yeah, that's right.
All righty. Have a great time running, everybody, and catch you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.